Have you ever been scrolling through your social feed, just catching up, and suddenly an ad pops up that feels, well, almost creepily specific to you?
Oh, absolutely. Or maybe you're driving, and a billboard for some local shop just sort of hits the nail on the head.
Exactly. It makes you wonder, doesn't it? How do brands figure out where to find us? And maybe more importantly, where are they actually putting their um, enormous marketing budgets to get our attention, especially in a country as huge and, well, diverse as India?
That question, yeah, it really cuts to the heart of this massive transformation happening right now in India's advertising world. For, well, decades, traditional media, TV, they were the undisputed kings, right?
Absolutely.
They dictated how brands talk to consumers. But now, with the whole digital revolution, we're seeing this really dramatic shift in where the money's going. And that creates attention, a really interesting one, especially for a medium that often gets kind of overlooked in this global conversation, regional print media.
Precisely. So today we're diving deep, really deep into this incredibly dynamic, sometimes even contradictory environment. Our mission, if you will, is to unpack all the complex bits of this huge shift. We want to reveal some, perhaps surprising facts about where the ad money really
Yeah,
flows.
beyond the headlines.
Exactly. Explore the unique strengths, the often underestimated power of regional print, but also look squarely at the big challenges it's facing.
It's not all rosy.
Definitely not.
Oh.
And ultimately, discuss how brands are navigating this, or maybe, frankly, how they should be navigating it to genuinely connect with India's incredibly diverse audience. We're going to try and look past that surface idea that, digital alone is enough.
The digital sufficiency myth,
Yeah, right, and uncover the real story of how brands can truly resonate here.
Sounds like a plan. Where should we start? The sheer scale of it all.
Let's do that. So, unpacking this. When we talk about India's advertising market, we're not just talking about like a growing sector. It's immense, truly colossal, and expanding at this, frankly, astonishing pace.
Really is.
Just to give you a sense of the scale, Group M, they're a huge global media investment group. They actually predict India's total ad spend could hit a staggering 1.6 trillion by 2025.
Wow.
Now, for anyone maybe less familiar with Indian numbering, that's 1.6 lakh crore rupees. A lakh is 100,000, of course, 10 million. So 1.6 trillion. It's a mind-boggling amount of money just pouring into getting our attention.
It's an absolutely monumental figure. And what's really fascinating within that is the speed, the sheer velocity at which digital isn't just growing, it's actively, taking over.
Taking the lead.
Yeah. Dentsu's latest predictions, they offer some really telling numbers. While the whole ad industry, all mediums, is expected to grow at a pretty healthy 6.87% compound annual growth rate. That's CAGR, basically the average yearly growth.
Right, the steady growth rate.
Digital is projected to just explode.
Yeah.
We're talking a massive 19.09% CAGR. If that holds, digital ad spending could hit nearly 70,000 crore by 2026. It's not just expansion, it's a fundamental reordering.
Wow, okay, 19% versus less than 7%. That's not growth. It feels like a takeover, like you said.
It really does.
And the numbers you mentioned really hammer that home. By the end of 2024, digital already had, a 49% share of total ad spend?
Almost half. Yeah.
Just think about that. Nearly half of all ad budgets flowing into digital. That leaves TV, traditional TV, trailing at 28%. And print, which used to be so dominant, just 17%.
A huge drop from its peak.
And the projections. Digital grabbing a massive 61% share by 2026. It's a complete flip from what many might have guessed even a few years back, a monumental shift in where brands are putting their money.
Indeed. And what's really crucial here is that this isn't just happening in India in isolation. PwC's findings back this up on a global scale. They rank India as the second fastest growing internet advertising market in the world.
Second fastest globally.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it really underlines this idea that India isn't just, following a global trend. It's actually right at the forefront of this transformation in how brands reach consumers. The scale and speed here are genuinely remarkable, even internationally.
Okay, so if we're seeing such a massive, almost explosive surge in digital, what's actually pushing it? It has to be more than just a general trend, right? There must be some specific, powerful factors unique to India fueling this.
You're absolutely right to ask that. One of probably the primary driver, the most foundational one, is India's status as, unequivocally, a mobile-first nation.
Right. Everyone's got a phone.
Everyone. We're talking over 700 million internet users, and the vast majority think well over 90% are accessing the internet mainly through their mobiles.
90%. That's huge.
It is. the widespread adoption of affordable smartphones, plus these game-changing moves like Geo. Remember how they made internet data incredibly cheap?
Yeah, suddenly everyone was online.
Exactly. It democratized access for hundreds of millions. And that has just fundamentally changed how audiences engage with everything. It's not about sitting at a desktop anymore. It's being always on, always connected, the internet literally in your pocket. So naturally, mobile became the front line for advertisers.
That makes total sense. If everyone's glued to their phone most of the day, that's where brands have got to be. But it's not just the device itself, is it? It's what people are doing on those phones, the apps, the platforms.
Precisely. We've seen this just explosion of engagement across all sorts of digital platforms. Think about social media, Instagram, X, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube. They're not just for catching up with friends anymore. They're discovery engines, news sources, entertainment.
Shopping platforms too, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Look at the boom in e-commerce, Amazon, Flipkart, even the quick commerce guys like Blinkit. They've transformed how Indians shop for everything. And then, of course, the OTT platforms, Disney Plus, Hotstar, JioCinema, Z5. Entertainment consumption has massively shifted away from traditional TV schedules.
So many different places to reach people.
Exactly. And each platform offers unique ways for brands to advertise, allowing for this incredibly personalized, targeted approach that just wasn't possible with mass media. You can micro-target based on interests, viewing habits, purchase history. It's incredibly granular.
And behind all of that, making it smarter and more personal, is the tech itself, I assume.
Absolutely. The tech advancements are playing a huge, huge role. Advanced data analytics, for instance. They let advertisers really dig deep into consumer preferences, into behaviors, so they can deliver ads that are more resonant and, crucially, more effective.
So less wasted ad spend.
Ideally, yes.
Right.
Then there's programmatic advertising. Think of it like a stock market, but for ad space.
Okay.
Instead of people negotiating deals, algorithms instantly bid on ad slots across millions of websites and apps in real time. They match the advertiser's target audience with the right user at the right moment.
Yeah.
The speed, the efficiency, it was unimaginable a decade ago.
Wow.
And now with AI, artificial intelligence really taking off, we're seeing things like AI-driven hyper-personalization, ads that dynamically change based on who's seeing them, AI-powered video editing, even content creation in multiple regional languages automatically.
That last one feels key for India.
Hugely important. It makes campaigns not just more sophisticated, but way more scalable and relevant across India's diverse linguistic landscape. Ads can literally speak to consumers in their own language, their own cultural context.
Okay, so with all this incredible digital power and precision available, how are brand strategies actually changing on the ground? Who's putting their money where? And what does that tell us about the market right now?
Well, the investment patterns give us a pretty clear picture. If you look at sectoral shifts, it's obvious that retail-related businesses, e-commerce, consumer goods, CPG, durables, they've been massive drivers.
The one selling stuff directly.
Exactly. In FY23, they accounted for something like 60% of the entire digital ad market. An astounding number. Their main focus, usually driving immediate engagement and, crucially, conversions. They want that direct, measurable ROI, which digital is great at providing click-through rates, direct sales tracking, that sort of thing.
Makes sense for retail. But what about sectors where it's not just about an immediate purchase, like travel or entertainment?
Good question. Content and service sectors think travel, hospitality, media, entertainment, even education. They use digital a bit differently. Yes, conversions matter, but their primary goals are often broader.
Like building awareness.
Yeah, driving engagement, getting website traffic, encouraging app downloads, promoting their services. It's more about building that brand affinity, fostering interaction, not just the immediate transaction. The travel sector, for instance, saw a huge 33.4% ad spend jump in 2024. They use digital to reach global audiences, attract tourists with amazing visuals, targeted offers, investing heavily in aspirational content online.
And it's not just the newer digital-first companies doing this, right? Are the older, more established industries getting on board too?
Oh, absolutely. We're seeing a really significant shift where traditionally offline sectors, real estate, infrastructure, BFSI, that's banking, financial services, insurance, including all the new fintech players.
Right, fintech's huge now.
And healthcare. They're increasingly adopting digital advertising. Why? To boost visibility, generate better quality leads, and engage directly with customers in this digital-first world. Take the telecom sector they're now putting, get this, 66% of their entire media budget into digital.
66% for telecom. Wow.
It shows that even these long-established giants see that a strong digital presence isn't just, nice to have anymore. It's absolutely essential to compete. They're using it for everything, promoting plans, customer service, brand building, the lot.
That's a massive commitment. So are these legacy brands, the ones who've been around for ages, are they approaching this digital shift differently from, say, a brand that was born online, a
Yeah.
digital native company?
Yeah, there are definitely distinct approaches. It kind of highlights where they are on their digital journey.
Yeah.
Legacy brands, the established players, they're usually making a more gradual but very deliberate shift of their budgets to digital.
Testing the waters.
Maybe initially, but now it's more about staying competitive, maximizing their reach in a really fragmented media world, and just staying relevant as consumers move online. For them, it's about adaptation, modernization.
And the digital first guys.
Totally different mindset. They are, by definition, online-focused from day one. They love digital for its cost-effectiveness, its trackability, its precise targeting. Their main goal is usually a super high return on ad spend ROAS for the lowest possible cost. It lets them scale up really quickly, really efficiently, without all the overheads of traditional ads.
And it's not just the big companies making this move, is it? We always hear about the huge corporations, but what about the smaller businesses, the MSMEs? Are they part of this digital wave in India?
This is such a crucial point and often gets missed. India's micro, small, and medium enterprises, MSMEs, they are actually, in many ways, leading the charge.
Really? How so?
They contribute over 1/3 of the total digital ad spend in India.
A third. Wow, why is that?
Because MSMEs usually have tighter budgets, fewer resources. So the cost effectiveness, the immediate results you can track, the precise targeting, it's incredibly appealing.
It levels the playing field a bit.
Exactly. They can use self-serve tools on Google or Meta to target specific demographics, interests, even people in their immediate neighborhood. They optimize their spend for maximum impact without needing huge physical stores or pouring money into traditional ads they can't easily measure. It's really empowered millions of smaller businesses.
Okay, so we've painted this really clear picture. Digital advertising is this overwhelming force. It's rising fast, driven by phones and tech, and even small businesses are jumping in. But, and this is where it gets really interesting, despite all this digital noise, traditional media, especially print, still seems to have incredibly deep roots in India.
That's absolutely right.
It feels like it's not just hanging on. In some unique ways, it's actually doing well, almost going against the global trend.
It is. Traditional media is still profoundly part of Indian society. It's less like a relic and more like a cultural anchor. While, the global story is often about decline, especially for print, in India, it's much more nuanced, much more resilient. We really shouldn't underestimate the role these mediums still play for millions every single day.
Let's start with TV then. Even with digital booming, TV still feels like this giant presence, doesn't it?
Undeniably, television is still the most widely consumed media in India. It reaches almost 200 million households across the country.
They're still huge numbers.
Massive. And crucially, its reach goes deep into rural and semi-urban areas. That's largely thanks to all the regional language satellite channels that have popped up. This massive reach makes TV super effective for brands wanting those big, high-visibility campaigns. Especially around major events, cricket, big festivals, popular soaps, you capture a huge, diverse audience all at once. For immediate mass awareness, TV is still a powerhouse.
Okay, but then there's print. In many Western countries, print is often seen as, well, dying, or at least fading fast. Is that really true in India, or is something different going on?
It's pretty much the opposite, actually. India's print industry is remarkably robust. It almost defies that Western narrative. Just look at the numbers. Over 118,000 registered newspapers as of 2018. And get this, 17,573 daily newspapers.
Daily, wow.
Yeah, even back in 2012, there were nearly 87,000 registered papers. This sheer volume tells you something about its vitality. Print continues to thrive because of India's incredible regional diversity and, interestingly, ongoing growth in literacy. It caters to so many languages, creating this deep, authentic connection with local communities.
And advertisers still rely on it.
Hugely. There are 78,000 advertisers and 104,000 brands that rely solely on print advertising.
Solely, not even a mix.
Solely on print. That speaks volumes about its relevance, its unique, trusted appeal, especially for businesses that really understand those local nuances.
This is where it gets fascinating. The specific strength of regional print. It's not just local papers. It feels like it's woven into the fabric of community life. What makes it so resilient, especially compared to national papers or even digital?
I think the absolute key is its hyperlocal relevance and its deep-seated credibility. Regional newspapers. They're invaluable. They provide news in local languages, covering stories the big national papers often miss or just deem too small.
Like what kind of stories?
Well, they champion local heritage, promote folk arts, they're a voice for community issues. A regional paper might cover, say, the details of a local festival happening in Shanxi, or maybe the passing of a respected Baiga tribal elder in Bundelkhand. These are stories that resonate deeply within that specific community. They provide information, sure, but they also foster this sense of belonging that a national paper just can't replicate. That micro-focus builds immense trust, almost like family.
And trust, that's golden media today, isn't it? With all the noise online.
Precisely. Print media, and regional print especially, consistently holds this unmatched credibility compared to other media in India. There's a kind of tangible authority that comes with seeing news in print.
Yeah.
People still really value a physical newspaper as a trustworthy, reliable source, often more so than a fleeting digital headline. This deep trust, it's a huge, maybe intangible factor in its ongoing relevance, and it's incredibly appealing to advertisers who want to build lasting relationships.
So is this translating into actual growth? Are readership and circulation numbers going up for regional print, or is it just sort of holding steady?
Oh, we're absolutely seeing significant growth in many areas. It really shows its enduring power. Take the Sakal newspaper in Maharashtra, for example. Its circulation jumped dramatically from about 1.45 lakh to an impressive 13.6 lakhs.
That's nearly tenfold.
Huge growth. And this readership increase is directly linked to more educated, more literate populations in these regions, people actively seeking detailed local information that affects their lives. And this resilience, it was even clear during the COVID pandemic.
Right, when everything shut down.
Exactly. While many industries were hit hard, print readership in Kerala, which has very high literacy, only saw a modest dip, maybe 10–20% during the peak lockdown. It really proved its essential role. It wasn't just surviving, it was vital.
That's really telling. And are the economics backing this up? Is there real money still flowing into regional print?
Yes, the economic data looks pretty positive. CRISIL, they're a well-respected rating agency here. They're projecting strong growth for regional print media. They expect 8–9% revenue growth in 2024–25.
That's solid growth.
It is, and it builds on a good 6–7% increase the year before. Now, it's worth noting, a big chunk of this growth is driven by increased government advertising, especially around big events like the Lok Sabha elections.
Ah, okay. So governments see the value too.
Absolutely. Governments know that to reach local populations with important information, campaign messages. Regional newspapers are often the most effective, the most trusted channels, often much more so than national media alone.
And it sounds like smaller businesses, the SMEs, are also key players here.
They are absolutely crucial drivers of print growth, particularly outside the big metro cities. SMEs spent a huge euro 25,800 crore on print advertising in 2024.
Wow.
For these businesses, regional print offers this incredibly targeted, cost-effective, and highly credible way to reach their local customers. These customers are often reached much more effectively, influenced more strongly through their familiar, trusted local paper than through digital channels, which can sometimes feel a bit impersonal for a local shop, you know.
Yeah, that makes sense. The relationship feels different.
It's often deeply symbiotic. The local business supports the local paper, and the paper supports the local business.
And then there's that almost sensory thing, the physical touch of a newspaper. Does that still actually matter in our digital world, or is that just nostalgia?
Oh, it absolutely matters.
Yeah.
Profoundly so in India. There's this unique, almost ritualistic value placed on the physical newspaper. It's part of the morning routine for so many people, often with their chai.
Right, the morning ritual.
People might carry a paper, even if they don't read every single article. They value the physical copy for local news, checking school events, community announcements, even just as a familiar, comforting object. It's a whole sensory experience, the rustle of the pages, the smell of the ink, the feel of the paper. Digital just can't replicate that. And this deep cultural aspect reinforces its presence, its trustworthiness. It's more than just information. It's part of daily life, part of community identity.
Okay, so we've got this picture of traditional media, especially regional print, holding strong in many ways, almost defying the odds. But it's clearly not easy. It feels like it's at a crossroads. What are the major headwinds it's facing, especially against the power and, let's face it, the advantages of digital?
Yeah, despite its resilience, regional print is definitely grappling with some serious economic pressures and the fundamental shift in advertising models. While yes, individual regional papers might be showing great growth.
Like Sakal.
Exactly. But the overall industry trend, viewed broadly, it's a declining share of print and radio in the total advertising pie. Digital platforms just offer things traditional media struggles with, like that advanced real-time targeting, hyper-personalized ads, instant performance tracking.
The measurability factor.
Huge factor. Brands focused on data-driven marketing naturally lean towards digital because of that efficiency and accountability.
And there's that really serious concern about the content itself, isn't there? The feeling that print media's hard work is being, well, ripped off.
A very pertinent and deeply worrying issue. India's Vice President, M. Venkaiah Naidu, actually voiced this concern quite strongly. He said social media companies are essentially looting print media's carefully gathered information and reports without paying fairly for it.
Looting is a strong word.
It is. He urged for proper revenue-sharing models, pointing out that other countries are starting to make social media giants share their ad revenue with the publishers whose content fuels their platforms. It highlights this fundamental imbalance where the original creators, the journalists, struggle while platforms profit massively from their work. It raises serious questions about the future of independent journalism.
And then, of course, the pandemic hit everyone hard. How specifically did COVID impact an industry relying on physical distribution and print ads?
Oh, COVID was a severe blow, almost crippling for the newspaper industry. The lockdowns, people being afraid of physical contact, it led to this immediate, massive loss of ad revenue.
Businesses cut back.
Exactly. Businesses facing uncertainty slashed their marketing budgets, and print got hit particularly hard. This forced many publishers into drastic measures, widespread layoffs, significant salary cuts, impacting thousands of livelihoods. It was a stark reminder of their vulnerability to these kinds of external shocks, especially ones that disrupt physical operations and ad spending.
So beyond those big economic hits, what about the day-to-day grind? The operational challenges. It must be tough competing when you have printing presses, delivery logistics, rising costs, compared to digital's instant nature.
Absolutely. There are significant tech gaps that create real hurdles. Just building and maintaining digital products for India's incredibly varied tech landscape is tough. You've got lots of users still on older 2G or 3G networks.
Where things load slowly.
Right. Content loading is slow, data can be expensive. Meanwhile, 5G is still developing, it's not everywhere yet. This fragmented connectivity really impacts how digital content performs, how interactive you can make things. It bumps up development costs for publishers like, say, Indian Express, who have to build solutions that work even on basic phones. It adds complexity and costs that digital native platforms don't face in the same way.
And the cost of just printing, putting ink on paper day after day, must be huge.
It absolutely is. High production costs are a constant and often rising burden. Just the printing machines themselves, they can cost anywhere from 10 lakh to 3 crore. That's a massive hurdle for many regional publishers.
That's a serious capital.
It is. And that, combined with rising paper and ink costs, inevitably pushes the industry towards consolidation. Ownership tends to end up in the hands of big industrial groups, capitalists with the deep pockets needed to sustain these operations. And that concentration of ownership can sometimes affect the diversity of voices and editorial independence.
And then once the papers are printed, getting them to readers, especially out in remote areas, before dawn, that sounds like a logistical nightmare in a country like India.
It is incredibly complex. Distribution is this ongoing, relentless challenge, getting thousands of copies to individual readers across vast, often remote areas before the sun comes up. It requires this intricate, super efficient network, and the challenges don't stop there. Collecting subscription payments, especially recurring ones, that can be really tough in many parts of India. It just adds another layer of operational friction and cost, a constant battle against time and geography.
Okay, so huge external pressures, tough operational hurdles. Are there also internal challenges within print media itself? Maybe issues around credibility or finding good people?
Yes, unfortunately there are. Many small and medium papers seem to face this kind of identity crisis.
How so?
Instead of really leaning into their unique strength, that hyper-local news that genuinely matters to their community, like local council decisions, school news, market prices, they often try to copy the big national papers.
Covering cricket or Bollywood?
Exactly. Covering the IPL, celebrity gossip, stuff that's already everywhere. But this makes it really hard for them to compete with the slick production, the deep resources, the instant coverage of the national players. And in trying to be like them, they dilute what makes them special, what makes them invaluable locally. They lose their edge.
And what about the people working in these regional newsrooms? Is it hard to attract and keep good journalists?
There are ongoing issues there, yeah, with attracting talent, retaining experienced people, and just overall professionalism sometimes. There can be a lack of maybe zeal among new talent coming in, partly because traditional media might seem less glamorous or dynamic than digital.
Lower pay, maybe, too.
Often, yes. And difficulties retaining skilled journalists are common, sometimes due to inconsistent payments or lower salaries, especially in the smaller digital platforms associated with these regional outlets. This can sadly create a cycle where the quality of in-depth local journalism, especially investigative stuff, can suffer.
Which brings us to maybe a broader, more worrying issue affecting all media, not just print. This sense of declining credibility in the public's eyes.
This is critical.
Yeah.
And deeply concerning. There's this widespread perception, you hear it everywhere, of declining credibility across both print and broadcast in India. A lot of it is fueled by perceived political alignment or bias.
Taking sides.
Exactly. And the really insidious issue of paid news, where stories are effectively bought by political parties or companies. It gets even worse when you hear about journalists' salaries or bonuses being tied directly to clicks or website visitors.
So chasing clicks over facts.
It can incentivize that, unfortunately. Even if management isn't explicitly saying right clickbait, the financial pressure can subtly push towards sensationalism, maybe even misinformation, just to get those numbers up. It compromises journalistic integrity. Many observers call it a severe crisis of credibility in Indian media, and it just erodes public trust.
And people are just getting worn out by it all, aren't they? The constant noise, the feeling you can't trust what you read.
Exactly. There's this growing thing people call news fatigue. The relentless barrage of news, often sensationalized, it just negatively affects mental health. Makes people anxious, cynical, hopeless sometimes.
I just switch off.
Yeah, they turn away from traditional media, or maybe they retreat into their own information bubbles online. And that, of course, further impacts readership, engagement, and the financial health of news outlets trying to do good work. It's a really vicious cycle.
This all leads to what feels like a major blind spot for a lot of brand managers. We've talked about the unique strengths of regional print, that deep local trust, the specific reach. Are brands actually seeing that value, or are they just following the digital crowd?
Unfortunately, I think it is a critical blind spot for many, especially the big advertisers, the ones with the really deep pockets. They often tend to favor English media, both print and digital.
Why English specifically?
Well, the assumption often is that the cosmopolitan readers, the metropolitan audiences who consume English content, they have greater purchasing power. So they become the primary, most valuable target. And the resources flow disproportionately towards them.
But that focus on metros and English speakers, it feels like it's missing a huge chunk of India, doesn't it? A massive growing market out there.
It's not just missing an opportunity, it's a colossal miscalculation, frankly. This traditional focus completely overlooks the rapidly growing consumer spending, the changing audience mix in India's Tier 2, Tier 3, and even smaller towns.
Where regional languages dominate.
Exactly. In these non-metro regions, regional platforms, local languages, they are gaining huge prominence. Incomes are rising, people are aspirational. Brands focusing only on metros are effectively ignoring this vast, deeply engaged and growing customer base who still rely heavily on and implicitly trust their regional print media.
So it's not just underinvestment, it's almost like they're operating under this digital sufficiency myth, believing social media and influencers are enough to cover everyone.
Precisely. That's a great way to put it. Many brand managers operate under this dangerous assumption that a digital media, social campaigns, influencers, online ads will just somehow be enough to reach their entire target audience.
Like, if it's online, everyone sees it.
Or that the digital native audience is the only one that matters for future growth. But the truth, as we've discussed, is that while digital is incredibly powerful, it often completely overlooks the significant strength, the unique reach, and that deep-seated generational credibility that regional print holds, especially in these non-metro areas.
Can you have an example? Maybe from a specific sector.
Sure. Let's look at jewelry. It's a high-trust purchase, right? You might have some premium brands, maybe like Tennish, focusing heavily on slick social media influencer campaigns, ads in national English digital papers, big TV campaigns, aiming for that perceived high-spending metro consumer.
Makes sense for a premium brand, perhaps.
On the surface, yes, but they might be inadvertently overlooking the huge growing purchasing power in non-metro areas. Consumers there might not be scrolling Instagram all day, but they religiously read their local Dainik Bhaskar or Malayalam Manorama. They trust that paper implicitly.
So who is tapping into that? Are other jeweler brands getting it right?
Absolutely. Conversely, you see brands like Kalyan Jewelers, P.N. Gagil Jewelers, Aura, Malabar Gold. They've demonstrably leaned into regional print advertising and with great success. They understand that for something like jewelry, the credibility of that local newspaper, maybe read by generations in a family, can be far more impactful than a fleeting digital ad.
So they're seeing results.
They're seeing tangible gains in revenue and market share. Why?
Yeah.
Because they acknowledge and invest in this deeply loyal, regionally connected audience.
Yeah.
You'll see their full-page ads in local language papers around festivals, wedding season, building trust, building that local connection.
It's fascinating. And is it just jewelry, or are other sectors also maybe falling into this digital sufficiency trap, like fintech maybe?
Definitely. Think about fintech. It's booming. Many innovative fintech companies invest heavily in social media, English dailies, targeting that digitally savvy, often urban user.
Makes sense for acquiring early adopters.
Sure. But imagine their potential customer base in Tier 2 or Tier 3 cities. Maybe a small business owner in Nashik or a farmer in Coimbatore. They might rely on their regional newspaper for local market rates, government announcements, community news. An ad in that paper explaining a new digital payment tool in their own language might build trust and drive adoption far more effectively than an Instagram ad they might never even see or might not fully trust.
Because it feels more grounded, more familiar.
Exactly. The truth is, many verticals across different industries are overlooking this powerful, trusted channel. They just assume digital alone is enough to capture all of India. And that assumption often means they fail to connect with these deeply loyal audiences who engage with their local papers in a profoundly different way than they consume digital content. It's a critical gap in strategy for many.
Okay, so we've laid out this huge shift to digital, but also the surprising resilience and unique value of regional print alongside its challenges. What's the way forward then? Is it a fight to the death, one media wins, the other fades? Or is there a way they can work together in this incredibly complex Indian market?
The future, I'm quite convinced, points towards coexistence, towards strategic integration, synergy. The idea isn't that one channel completely replaces another. It's about them working harmoniously, leveraging their different strengths.
So using the best of both worlds.
Precisely. Brands are increasingly seeing they need these sophisticated multi-channel approaches, ones that skillfully combine the mass reach and credibility of traditional media with the precision and interactivity of digital.
So maybe like a TV ad getting people aware, and then a social media campaign continuing the conversation, not seeing them as competitors.
Exactly that. Think of it like a relay race, not separate sprints. A brand might run a powerful TV ad during a big cricket match. Boom. Mass awareness, emotional connection. Then that's paired with social media campaigns to drive engagement, maybe answer questions, get people talking online. Or think about print. A newspaper ad could have a QR code.
Ah, linking the physical and digital.
Exactly. It drives online traffic straight from that trusted physical paper to a rich digital experience, more info, maybe a special offer, personalized content. This way, the visibility and trust of traditional funnels consumers towards the targeted, interactive, measurable digital experiences. It creates a much more complete consumer journey.
And this integration must be especially vital for reaching local audiences, right? Given India's diversity, that one-size-fits-all approach just won't fly.
It's absolutely paramount. Traditional media, especially regional print, is invaluable for connecting with specific local audiences in their own languages. It builds that unparalleled trust and familiarity.
The foundation.
Yes. Then digital platforms can provide the personalized follow-up, custom promotions, content based on what that individual seems interested in. This combined approach is crucial as incomes rise and audiences in Tier 2, Tier 3, and beyond become really significant markets. And regional print itself can attract younger readers too if it focuses on hyper-local content that matters to them. Career stuff, local opportunities, creating that bridge.
It sounds like traditional media can't just rest on its laurels, though. It needs to innovate, maybe even reinvent itself a bit to stay in the game.
Innovation isn't just important, it's absolutely imperative for survival, for growth. And we are seeing some of it. Traditional outlets are experimenting with new print ad formats, like those figured outlines or fancy jacket pages that wrap the whole paper.
Trying to stand out visually.
Exactly. Trying to grab attention, engage people in fresh ways. They're not just ads, they're trying to be creative statements.
And how can digital tools, maybe AI, help print and other traditional media overcome some of those challenges we talked about, like the tech gaps or costs?
Well, traditional media has to really embrace digital integration. That means leveraging new tech like AI, augmented reality, AR, even programmatic advertising within their traditional formats.
How would that work? AR in a newspaper?
Imagine a print ad that when you look at it through your phone's camera using an app, it comes to life. Maybe a 3D model of a product spins around, or video plays.
Wow, okay.
Or maybe print ad slots become part of a bigger programmatic campaign, optimizing their placement based on data, even though it's a physical medium. And AI, that could be a real game changer, enhancing ads with hyper-personalization, improving user experiences across platforms. And crucially for regional players, AI could help level the playing field by automating content creation, maybe streamlining ad sales, providing better audience insights without needing huge data teams. It could help bridge some of those tech and resource gaps.
Okay, so if you're a brand manager and marketer looking at this whole complex picture in India, what's the key advice? What should you be focusing on right now to actually succeed?
The number one thing I think, the foundation for everything else, is always pivot your strategy around the consumer and what actually generates returns.
Not just following the trend.
Exactly. Forget
Oh.
rigid one-size-fits-all plans. Adapt your media choices based on your specific brand, your product, the exact geography you're targeting, and crucially, the consumer behavior you want to influence. What works for a luxury car in Mumbai is not going to work for, say, washing powder in a Tier 3 town. The media mix have to reflect that reality.
Influencer marketing feels unavoidable now. Is that essential?
It's definitely critical, especially if you're a premium brand aiming for those affluent, aspirational audiences. Influencers can really shape perceptions, build trust, drive those wanted purchases. But, and this is a big bet,
Authenticity.
you nailed it. Finding the right authentic fit is absolutely crucial. Consumers are smart. They can spot a forced promotion a mile off. Superficial collaborations will just fall flat. Authenticity drives real impact, real loyalty.
And navigating India's diversity, all those languages, cultures. How do you do that effectively without just translating slogans?
Cultural nuance is everything. You absolutely cannot overstate its importance. Brands have to go way beyond simple translation. You need content that's truly culturally relevant, that resonates with specific subcultures, regional identities, micro-communities.
So local insights are key.
Absolutely. Understanding regional dialects, festivals, customs, how stories are told locally. Creating genuine connections means speaking to the heart of specific consumer groups, not just using their language.
Are there quick wins, like jumping on trending moments?
There can be. Capitalizing on trending events or big cultural moments, some call them moments triggers, can be a powerful way to boost your share of voice, stand out from the noise.
Like during Diwali or a big cricket match?
Exactly. But it requires real agility. You need to be responsive, react quickly, and integrate your brand message authentically into what people are already talking about. It can't feel forced.
You mentioned conscious advertising earlier. What exactly is that?
It's about brands choosing to align their advertising with positive, impactful, trustworthy content creators or media environments. It goes beyond just placing an ad somewhere.
It's about association.
Right. It builds brand reputation by associating your brand with quality, reputable content. It contributes to a healthier media ecosystem. And research actually shows it can improve your ROI, maybe by up to 25%.
Doing good and doing well.
That's the idea. Consumers increasingly appreciate brands that show they care, that contribute positively.
We've talked a lot about getting new customers, but what about keeping the ones you have, especially with ad costs rising?
That's becoming huge. A really significant emerging trend, probably for 2025 and beyond, is this strategic shift towards retention marketing.
Focusing on existing customers.
Exactly. Organizations are focusing on getting more revenue from their existing customer databases, using things like email, SMS, WhatsApp marketing channels that are highly cost-effective and allow for personalization.
Cheaper than finding new customers.
Dramatically cheaper, often 5, maybe even 10 times cheaper than acquiring new leads through expensive ads. It shows a strategic understanding that customer loyalty, lifetime value, that's where sustainable growth really comes from.
And finally, in this digital, data-heavy world, rules and regulations must be top of mind, especially new ones.
Absolutely non-negotiable. Regulatory compliance is increasingly critical, especially with major laws like the Digital Personal Data Protection Act of 2023 coming into effect.
What does that mean for brands?
It means they have to be explicitly transparent about how they use data, how they collect it, store it, apply it. This isn't just about avoiding fines. It's fundamental to building consumer trust in the digital age. Brands that prioritize ethical data practices, transparency, they're the ones who will build lasting relationships.
So as we wrap up this, well, pretty comprehensive deep dive, it feels abundantly clear we've navigated a really complex, often paradoxical, but totally fascinating advertising landscape here in India. On one side, you've got this undeniable, almost unstoppable surge of digital, commanding huge budgets, grabbing eyeballs.
The digital deluge, yeah.
But on the other side, we've explored the continued, maybe evolving, but definite relevance and unique strengths of traditional media, especially that regional print still so deeply woven into India's diverse cultural fabric, into local communities.
Indeed. And the fundamental truth, as we've sort of unpacked, isn't really about one media killing off another. It's about coexistence. It's about smart integration, a nuanced understanding of where each channel really delivers the goods.
So brands need to master that mix.
For brands to truly succeed, to thrive in India, they need to master that dynamic interplay, leverage the distinct strengths of both digital and traditional, not just blindly follow the latest trend, the companies that really get the diverse soul of India. They'll be the ones that connect most deeply.
Which leaves us with a compelling thought, maybe a question for you, our listener, to chew on after this. As India's advertising world continues this incredible digital renaissance, how can brands genuinely harness all its complexity? Not just for clicks and sales figures, but to create stories, narratives that truly resonate with the soul of India's incredibly diverse, mobile-first, yet still deeply traditional consumers.
Yeah, it's a challenge, isn't it? It demands both cutting-edge tech and real cultural empathy.
Something to think about. Maybe consider these insights next time you see an ad or pick up a local paper.
Definitely. This dynamic interplay between tech, culture, commerce in India, it's truly unique. A vibrant mix of old and new. And it's a space that's just ripe for thoughtful exploration and smart innovation.
Well, thank you for joining us on this deep dive. We really hope it's given you a fresh perspective, maybe a richer understanding of the vibrant, constantly changing world of advertising in India.